Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the happiest hour on earth. Tonight is going to be our lovey-dovey Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
So last week you got our pet peeves episode, which
Not
was,
about us.
Yeah, not about each
Disney.
other. Yes, Disney pet peeves, which was very fun. Very
super
fun.
Yeah.
But we're going the polar opposite this week and talking about our first Disneyland trip together, specifically.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the story of our proposal, which happened at Disneyland.
We got Disney intertwined throughout our relationship.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we're going to...
From the beginning.
Yeah. We're going to mainly focus on our first trip.
Yeah.
But we're going to be, talking some stories of other trips.
Just all the fun memories over the past 14 years of our relationship, which is just wild.
So crazy. Yeah, we actually, on Valentine's Day, will be our 14 years officially together.
That's true. That's our dating anniversary. So 14 years. We were 16.
It's crazy.
When we started dating. So
Oh, now they know exactly how old we are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
30.
You guys know.
We're 30. I think we've told you before. But yes, the first trip, there was definitely some cringe. We've got some funny things to tell you about that trip because we were definitely at the most awkward age and stage of our relationship.
Yeah.
So
this is funny because
up.
it's like it's a love episode, but it's also filled with a little bit of cringe, Yeah, but some good, funny cringe. Don't just turn off the episode yet.
Yeah, no, it's all in good fun, but
yeah, for sure. And we did in the past. This is different than a lot of the other Valentine's Day episodes that we've done in the past. We had last year, I believe, the most romantic activities that you could do at the park. So definitely go check that one out if you have not yet. The year before that, we did the most romantic restaurants throughout the park. So we talked a lot about Disney, but this year we're like, you know what? We talked about activities. We talked about restaurants. We could talk about most romantic spots. We might have touched upon that
we did
in our last episode. So you know what? This year we're talking about us. Yeah, you guys we don't get to talk about us too much. We usually talk, strictly movies or the park. So really, really excited to jump into this. But before we jump into this topic, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and click that like button and hit that subscribe button to help out our show. And it really means so much. We're hoping to get to 1,000 subs soon. And we're over 700. Yeah, we're not too far off. So thank you guys all so much for the support. If you're listening on a podcasting platform, go ahead and follow our show over there or rate us 5 stars, all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this episode.
Let's do it. All right. So the story of Chris and Emily. Here we go. So we've kind of talked about our dating relationship a little bit in the past, kind of how things started with us, but I'll just give kind of a brief overview of how that happened. So we were teenagers. He was a counselor at a camp where my cousin was also a counselor. My cousin and Chris were friends at the time. And so the day that I had gone up to the camp to go visit my cousin, it was like the last day of camp, like there could be visitors, whatever. And he was there. We got introduced, but it was kind of just quick, like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. But I was kind of like checking him out a little bit that day. He supposedly thought that I was too old for him because my cousins were a little older.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even consider, if you're listening to the episode, don't take offense to this. I wouldn't consider me and your cousins friends because they were more like my sister's friends. Like,
true.
older. And so I was like, okay, like they're older.
Yeah.
And I thought that you were a friend of theirs. So I was like, she's obviously
age, but,
a lot older. I didn't know. I was a 16-year-old kid,
True.
Just recently, fresh 16-year-old. Yeah.
That's true. And I wasn't even 16 yet at the time. I was still 15. So interesting first meeting. We were like super awkward. I was awkwardly checking him out. He was just kind of going about his day. Nothing happened. But then a month later, he added me as a friend on Facebook and supposedly didn't know who I was, that I was that girl. He just seen my photos on Facebook via his sister.
Okay, yeah, meeting in person. It was very, very quick, And then I saw her photos on Facebook. Remember back in the day, like people would just be on a computer, like on Facebook, like chatting or like MySpace. Yeah. And that's what my sister was doing at the time. And then saw a photo of you and she said that you were her cousin. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
And she's my age.
And they were
she's
like, go add her.
Older.
You should like add her. And my cousin knew that like I had kind of had a thing for him that day. So she was like, oh yeah, go like add her. I don't think she told him anything about that. But yeah. Anyways, the rest is history, basically. He added me. We started messaging. Her
parents thought I was like
they didn't
know if I was real or not, which is good on them because you don't know online.
I don't think my dad even knew that we were talking. Oof. My mom knew. Yeah. And she was
you're like, no, I swear he's my age.
Yeah. She was like, you've never met him. Like, you don't know who he is. And I was like, I did meet him actually. And he
said one word to me. He thought I was a lot older than I was.
And I thought she was going to tell me I couldn't talk to him anymore, but I think she relented and she was like, okay, just, like be careful. And so we were messaging.
There's a lot to fear with this guy.
Yeah, scary. We met in person again, very awkwardly. I think like a month after that. We had been messaging for about a month.
I was a very awkward man back in the day.
And I was a very awkward girl. It was just the time.
Which, as we talk about our first Disney trip, yeah, you'll get some awkwardness there.
Yes, which I'm jumping into. I just felt like we needed
No.
Just go over it a little bit how this all happened.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
From the span of October 2009, when we had met officially, we started liking each other more and more. We knew it was obvious we liked each other. We told each other that, but we didn't like make it official, quote unquote, until Valentine's Day of 2010.
I was very into the Nicholas Sparks era,
romantic,
right? So I was like,
even as a 16-year-old,
why am I not gonna wait a few months and do it on Valentine's Day?
It was very sweet. He like had a cake made at this bakery that his family loves that said like, will you be mine on it, and made a surprise picnic for me. Yeah. My favorite pizza. Like, it was quite precious.
And if you thought that was cute, with the Valentine's Day thing, the proposal date was the total opposite of that. That was on 9/11. Okay. Really sad. Not a laughing matter, but weird that lined up.
It just lined up that way. Yeah. No specific reason, but we'll get to the proposal stuff.
Yeah.
Soon enough. But yeah, so we started dating in February of 2010 while we were both 16. And 4 months after that, in April of 2010, was our first Disneyland trip together.
Yeah.
Not just the two of us.
Not just the two of us.
Parents took us. We all went together. It was like
both sets of parents would not have allowed that.
Like us just going by ourselves. Yeah. No way. But it was his parents, him, and I. Yeah. And it was really fun. I remember road tripping down there. I can't remember what time we left. I know it was like pretty early in the morning.
Yeah.
Got down there. It's so bad. I think Chris is gonna maybe input some photos for you to see.
Yeah, you looked very cute. Preface this right before the trip. I was like, you know what? I've told the story before, but right before I was like, my hair's getting a little bit long. I want to look fresh for this trip. Gotta look fresh for our first Disney trip out of a whole bunch to come, right? So I went in and I had at the time like the swoopy bangs. So it was like you had to
hair, hair.
It was very, very like, I don't know. It could easily go wrong. And did it go wrong? It was really bad. There was not like the angle. It was just more of a British bowl cut thing. And if you're British and listening to our show, I'm not calling, I'm saying like Beatles, bowl cut, like old British, right? You guys know, you're envisioning it in your head. That's what it was, but just make it 100 times worse. It was not.
I mean, it wasn't like a full on bowl cut. It was like she was attempting to do the swoop thing, but it was just too bowly. And I was not happy. Yeah, I was not happy, and I quite embarrassed.
I was, and I was
it was like the day before we left.
Yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? Like right before this first Disneyland trip with my girlfriend to get a nice bowl cut. And I still went on the trip.
You did.
Regardless of how mad I was about my hair.
Yeah, didn't stand
my gorgeous
in your way.
hair that was very bad.
It was so fun though. It was a great first trip, even though it was a little awkward, like we were still like kind of newly dating, so it was kind of awkward to like be there with his parents, like not sure like how affectionate we could be and like not make it weird. And you
could tell that in like the photos, because we were like our first relationship too, So our poses were so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's like a full wraparound, like side hug.
For our
like
first castle photo, my arms are literally at my sides.
And I have like both arms. I'm like
up and then down.
It's like very prom, like bad
so
prom
bad.
photo. Yeah,
it's like so awkward to
we
look
literally
at.
pulled up our album like on Facebook to prep for this episode, and we were like it was like sweet in one way,
painful.
but it was like, eesh, that is a little too cringe.
Yeah, like who are we?
Yeah, but
so bad.
It's so bad. But so we got down there, and we went to California Adventure first, I believe.
Yeah,
and so I think the first ride we did was Tower of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
Back when it was Tower, and it was super fun.
Yeah, we raced over there before the line got bad. I don't recall. I think we had like gotten down there, checked into the hotel, and then like rushed over.
I think we probably stayed that night and then had the next day, right? Or did we go in?
No, I think it was right out the gate. Yeah, I think
crazy.
we just checked in and then walked over to the park, if I recall.
Oh, because we left super early in the morning.
Yeah,
That's right.
We left
That's
pretty
right.
Early. Yeah. Which was so fun.
It was so great. And like another thing, I don't know if any other millennials can like relate to this, but if you bring a digital camera from back then on a trip, you're snapping tons of
pics left and right.
You know, like Instagram's like you want that one perfect shot. Back in the day, like with Facebook and MySpace, it's like you do one trip for 3 days and you upload an album of like 182 photos. And that's what we did. We saw Manny the handyman
from like
and
Disney Junior or something.
We're like, dude, this guy needs a photo with us. So we took a photo with him after Tower of Terror. We took a photo with everything.
Cast members.
We went crazy with that digital camera.
Yes. I mean, selfies left and right, obviously. Pictures just of each other in front of spots.
Yeah. On the way down, we had like 20 photos just in the car.
Just of us just doing like random poses.
Millennials gone wild with
so uncomfortable.
The digital camera.
I mean, some of them are sweet to look at. Yeah. Like there's a couple that I'm like, oh, I remember taking that. And then the rest I'm just like, oh, wow.
We got better after that.
Yeah. I think that was the height of the like, okay, you don't need this many photos together, guys. Like, it's fine.
It was crazy. But yeah, the first day was awesome. I mean, it was just so great. Back then, it wasn't too bad with crowds. Yeah. And so we got to just run around and do a whole bunch of things. Speaking of running around and doing a whole bunch of things, first day, your feet could not even hang.
My gosh. I don't know, man. I guess I've always had issues with my feet in Disney. Like, I think I've just never been great at like wearing shoes that supported them. So I am like tapped out.
Oh yeah. We were probably wearing Toms. It was that era, everybody. It's like Toms, no socks, because if you wore socks back in the day,
it looked so bad.
Yeah. You were not cool. So
you just had to have your sweaty feet in Toms walking around Disneyland for miles.
The prices we paid to try to look cool.
Bad. So bad.
I don't even know what you're wearing. I don't
recall either. I feel like I need to look back.
Toms.
I might have been wearing Vans.
Oof. Socks or no socks?
I don't know. I have to look back. I don't recall exactly. But whatever it was, it messed my feet up. So we got through our first day.
Oof.
Yeah, day one, I was pretty screwed. So we like got back to the hotel that night and I was literally just soaking my feet in the bathtub.
And internally, like, I'm such a big Disney person that I was like, I feel so bad for your feet. But internally, I was like, she better still keep up with us.
I've always kept up because my feet have always done that to me every single Disney trip. I think I just have bad feet. I damaged them a lot in soccer. I played soccer growing up. And I remember a few specific times where I like messed up, like either one of my big toes or kind of like my ankle. And literally as we speak, I'm moving my ankle and it hurts. I don't even know what I did this time, but I've always just kind of had issues down there. So I think it just, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But
did we do 3 days or 2 days?
I think
it was 3. Yeah.
I think we did 3.
The one really cool thing though, is that we got one day, we were like hanging out with my family like the entire time, which is totally cool. I love them. They took me on all the Disney trips when I was younger. But they did give us, a night to just go into downtown Disney, have a romantic date at Rainforest Cafe. All of the animals just screaming at her face. There's a thunderstorm going on. So romantic.
The vibe was real.
Yep. We sat
So
by like
romantic.
a gorilla or something.
I don't even remember, but it was fun. It was a fun, just little like escape to be alone and like have a meal.
Gotta go, walk around downtown Disney for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
it was fun.
Yeah, go back into California Adventure. One of the nights I remember we did like Splash Mountain at like 10:30.
Yeah.
Or something super late at night. And there's no line. I think we had like our own boat.
I think we did. And probably got to like ride it twice in a row. I remember
that. Yeah.
I don't remember if it was that trip or not. Maybe it was a different one, but back then, literally, there could just be no one in line at night. Like, could just be like, oh, we rode it and now we can just go again.
One time they just said that. We like pulled up in our boat and they're like, you guys want to go one more time?
Yeah.
We're like,
that's what I'm saying.
We just
didn't even hop out. Yeah.
It was like, awesome.
We just kept going.
You can never even think about that. So that was 2010.
Yeah.
14 years ago.
Out of the realm of possibility now. So sad. I miss those days.
So sad. And then that pretty much concluded it. We did go to like Hollywood after that. Mm-hmm. We went to, the Star Walk and, saw all the weird looking like super men and bad characters. And if you take a photo with them, Elvis Presley, they get mad if you don't give them $1.
That
we did that.
Specifically happened. I have a photo because he just, I think, kind of grabbed me.
You just, they're like, take a photo right now. And then they're like, pay up, baby. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And I did not pay him, but
it's like, you're not even a good Elvis. Why would I pay? I wouldn't tip you. But yeah, so
great. But it was
we did
fun,
that. And then we did probably a Disney trip every year after that.
Yeah.
Together. And I think what we did for a while, there were a lot of times where we stayed with your relatives down in SoCal and then would just like drive to the park every day.
Which was fun.
Like 15 minutes.
It was very convenient because they live in Tustin, which is like, 10, 15 minutes south, I guess, of Anaheim. Yeah. So it was very nice when we were young and just had literally no money except for our tickets to just go crash there and just drive over. That was really nice.
Amazing.
We did do that a couple times, even with like your sister and one of her friends one time. I think your mom stayed one time.
Well, yeah, we did this one trip with my mom too, where I think we might have said it on the show before, but one time it was like spring break for us. We were counting up. I had like this change counter. Right. There's like college Chris living with his parents, but I had this change counter and there's like over $200 in it. So we're like counting it up. And then we're like, wouldn't that be funny if we went to Disneyland tomorrow? Like while we still were on break. And then my mom was like, let's just do it. Yeah. And then we were going to drive down there, go to Disneyland and then drive back that night. So we didn't have to pay for a hotel. And I'm so glad we didn't do that because we would have
been really bad.
It would have been really
because we literally left at 2 a.m. to get down there. He drove, and we did a full day of Disney.
Of it.
Yes, I know it was exhausting, but we did it, and that was one of the best memories. That was one of the least crowded the park had been. I remember just being like, "How is there like no one here? Isn't it like spring break for everyone?"
Yeah,
and it was not crowded. It was great. That was a fun day.
It was so fun. Yeah, but we did stay that night and then left the next morning, I think. But super, super fun trips throughout the years. That first one, although it was so magical, was
just the first of, even better ones that came because it was still kind of in the awkward stage.
Yeah.
We were so just like so Twitter-pated. But yeah, we were just all in love, like just all about each other. And it was just very sweet and romantic. And, we were taking advantage of any moment on a dark ride when we were by ourselves to smooch it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. We,
because the rest of the
Small
time,
World, I remember in particular.
Small World. Yeah. I remember Haunted Mansion because I think it even had like broke down once in the middle of the ride. We were like,
Perfect time. Yeah.
Like, because the rest of the time, of course, we're, with the parents, we're not going to be doing that kind of thing. So
it was like while the doom buggies would, like, even if they're in another doom buggy, like every time it turned and no one could see, kiss, and then it was like, and we're just, oh wow, these ghosts are incredible.
It was like, it made it more like exciting that we had to be like quick about it, whatever. Fun times.
It was, yeah. It was crazy.
Very special. But
although it was,
I can't even begin to count the amount of trips we've taken since then.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. And isn't that crazy to think, like, and it's so awesome to think that those trips wasn't just like, we can't look at those photos anymore because, we broke up or something like that. Like, it's just so cool that we get to relive all those.
I know. I'm so thankful that we had that digital camera.
Yeah.
Took all those photos. And now, even though it's so cringy, we can look back and be like, oh my gosh, like, who were we back then?
Yeah. I thought I was a different person back then. Like, I thought I was so cool. And then looking back, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yikes.
Which, by the way, we will be posting on the post that correlates to this episode some old photos. We're going to just do it. You guys, we're going to give you all the cringe right before Valentine's Day.
Get ready.
If
you follow us.
It's incredible.
You're going to see what we've been talking about.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot. I think we'll have to go through and compile the best/worst for you guys to see.
Best/worst.
So they're pretty bad. But yeah, we have taken countless trips since then. And maybe we should just chat about the engagement.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the best trips for sure.
Yes, of course. One of the most memorable. And we have definitely talked about it on here before. But in case you've never heard the story or you're new.
Yeah, I guess since I was kind of the one planning it, should I kind of take this a little bit? Okay.
Yeah. Take over.
The year was 2015, 5 years after we started dating.
We were roughly 21 and you were 22, I believe.
Yeah.
Were you 22?
I don't like math, but yes, I believe I was. Wow.
There. I think so, because you were 23 when we got married. And
yeah. Oh, yeah. True. Yeah. So it just so happened to line up September 11th. And so I remember I asked your dad a little bit before. I actually had a nice meal with him while he was on his lunch break, and I did not bring up
at Red Robin.
I didn't bring it up until like the very end. I was like, we're just like talking sports or something, and then right when the bill came, he was like, "Do you want to ask me something?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah. We should probably talk about that."
I guess that's
can I propose to your daughter? And then so that happened. I was like, "Oh, I have this plan. It's obviously going to be at Disneyland because we're huge Disney people." And he was like, "Yeah, of course. I love you so much. Like, marry my daughter. You're the best man I've ever met." That's what he said to me. So I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, I'll be your son-in-law forever." And then, we planned this trip. And they weren't able to come down, your parents, but we did go with my parents.
And it was his parents and his sister and my brother.
Yeah. So, So,
I should have been tipped off even there, but I think we just kind of were like, oh, it'd be fun for like you to come with us. And you just so happened to be free and want to go with us.
And what was crazy was that year I had finished college and I was waiting to like get a job before I popped the question.
You've been interviewing a lot.
Yeah. And I was like kind of far along with this one job. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just propose, right? And then I got a call, I think that day or maybe the day before. And they're like, we went with someone else. And I was like, well, I'm still going to propose and just hope, everything kind of works out with the job and stuff like that. And so we go down there and that's funny emotions too, because I'm like, oh, I didn't get this job, but now I'm going to be engaged. And we're going down there. And the funny thing was that like, I think I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And my phone was charging and she saw a text from her dad come through.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you read it.
I didn't read it. All I saw was a text from like my father on your phone. And I was like, that's weird. I think
she
you guys
right
don't text. Like that's abnorable. So I was a little
now we
tipped
text
off.
a lot. But back then we did not text a lot at all.
At the time, it was kind of a strange thing
very
to see.
Very sus to use Gen Z lingo. Is that Gen Z?
I guess
Look at us. Look at us.
I don't know.
But yeah, super sus. And we got down there and my original plan was to have like all the actors or like all the cast members who like act like do this whole show for this proposal. I was like, that probably won't work. That won't work, right? And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I could get a cast member to do it, but I didn't want to leave it up to that moment. So I hit up one of my friends at the time who played in a band that our band also played with at the time. And now he like has his own YouTube channel and he's pretty big, pretty huge. His name's Blake Rozier, and he was so gracious enough. He had moved down to LA and had an annual pass. And so I was like, dude, I know you're like doing acting stuff. Emily doesn't know who you are. Can you help me out here? Told them the plan and everything, and her favorite princess Cinderella. So I was like, I want to make her feel like that. And so we've talked about this before. We could also post the video. Got like a glass slipper. It wasn't a real glass slipper. It was plastic, but it looked real. Got it in her size. Thankfully it fit.
Thank goodness.
And I had my friend Blake, while I was off, come out of the castle looking like he looked like a little squire.
He looked the part. Great. He really looked like he worked in Disneyland. I mean, I saw him, and I think the second I saw like something going on, I somehow knew, because Chris at the time had like escaped to go to the bathroom.
It was a very long bathroom
and
break.
He had been just really, really on edge for the last like hour.
Yeah, actually, maybe we should start there. Yeah, so
there was a lot more to this story.
I was on edge because
it was very uncomfortable.
LA traffic was not wanting us to get engaged.
Yeah, Blake was stuck in traffic. Things got pushed out quite a bit.
And I had reserved Blue Bayou reservations so that
for a specific time. Yeah. So
and I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna miss Blue Bayou. Like, he's not gonna come. And
so it was crunch time. And so finally, I think Blake was getting there. We were all like, we kind of just ended up over by the castle after killing some time. I think you guys had to find a way to kill time. Yes. Everyone was like, yeah, let's go on Astro Blasters. Let's go. And
she like does not care about
I've never been a fan. So I was like,
and I've never like forced her to go on it. But that day I was like, yeah,
let's go. We gotta go. Let's go on it.
The best, man. Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So we went on it. And I think after that was around the time that he was getting there. So we like made our way over towards the castle, and everything just seemed a little bit too planned out. I think everyone was like, yeah, let's go over here. Let's
literally go by the castle. Oops. Chris has to go to the bathroom.
No.
Oh, you know what? It was the locker.
That's right. You said that you were going to the locker with your dad when in fact I think you were going to get the ring.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I'll go to... No, you didn't say this, but you're like, why didn't I go to the locker? And we're just like, stay here.
Yeah.
I swear, just stay here. Don't go to the locker.
And so during the time that he was away was when Blake had showed up and was like going around to all the girls saying that he was looking for the princess, and he was like trying to try on the slipper.
Yeah. He was like, the prince is looking for
a certain princess.
Yeah.
And when I saw him doing that, I was like, I'm about to get proposed to. I just knew it. It was like, this all lines up now.
Yeah.
And so he made his way to me finally. And in the moment that he was like, oh yeah, like the prince is looking for his princess. Try on this slipper. I think it might fit. I was like, okay. And I was like, you know, the butterflies were going nuts.
Yeah.
And then got the shoe on. Chris came out from the like fantasy fair area.
Yeah.
And then popped the question, and it was very, very sweet. We had a whole crowd around us, and they were all like oohing and awing. It was pretty cute.
It was so awesome.
Very special. And then it was like very little time to celebrate with everyone, because he was like, we gotta go. We have Blue Bayou. Like, let's go
I didn't
there.
let her know. Yeah, we were just like, I was like, surprise Blue Bayou reservations.
It was all a blur. That whole bit of time was a blur. So we ran over there. Both of us were way too hyped and excited and like just freaking out to even like eat much. So we literally ordered like one plate and shared it.
Yeah. And it was like at a weird time. It was like at 4.
Yeah, I think it was like 4.
Super weird. Yeah.
And I think they gave us a free dessert because we had just got engaged and stuff. So it was very special.
Yeah.
But
and then we got the next day, we were in the park for one last day. And so that was cool to just like nerves all gone and just like enjoy the park as an engaged couple.
Yeah, but we were trying to kind of keep it a secret from like the rest of the world that we were engaged, like social media and stuff. So we were trying to like take pictures without my ring in the photos and stuff. And I think
you know what's interesting? I think it was the diamond celebration, the 60th.
Oh, I think it was.
The 60th, the diamond celebration that you got a little diamond.
I think you're right.
Pretty cool.
That was so fun. That was a good time to be in the park. It was so magical. Yeah. So special.
It was.
So yeah, we got to enjoy the remainder of the trip. I think we made our big announcement like the day that we were heading home, and then
literally the week after oh my gosh. Okay, wait. So how this goes? Our friends wanted to do a trip with us.
Big trip, just like a big friend group trip to the park.
They could only go the week after the proposal, but I was like my parents could only go during this time, and they're like in on it, and your brother could go. Yeah. And so we're like, we have to keep this as the date. Plus we didn't really, I don't think I only told a few people that I was going to propose to. So we couldn't tell the whole group. So I was like, we're going to go down the week before, and then we're going to also go the week after. So literally a week after we got engaged, we got to go back to Disneyland to celebrate with our friends.
Literally drove down there. Did our trip the first time, got engaged, drove back, and then a week later drove down, came back.
It was crazy. Super fun with the friends as well.
Yeah. Man. Got to like celebrate all over again. Yeah. Like, with everybody else. It was a blast.
It was so great. And then when we got married, we went on our honeymoon to Maui. But then a month after, we decided to do another Disney trip. Yeah. It's so cool. And actually, speaking of our wedding, we've already talked about this a little bit, but we wanted to touch upon it as well here. But just showing how like Disney has been intertwined with our relationship. Of course, it's meant so much to us, so much to all of you guys, I know as well. And so we wanted to find a way that we wanted to incorporate Disney into our wedding. And we did do an episode like all about ways to incorporate Disney into your wedding. I remember the audio quality, something happened with it. So it was I really enjoyed that episode, but the audio was so bad.
Yeah,
but
so unfortunate.
We had to put it out. Yeah.
But in case you don't want to go back and listen to the bad audio of that one, I'll just kind of chat a little bit about things that we did at our wedding. So from the beginning, I think we knew that we wanted like little hints of Disney without it being like super in your face, like, just not too crazy.
Yeah, little nods.
Just little nods, sure. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it is pretty obvious what we did, but like in a very fun way.
It wasn't like we were wearing kitschy Mickey and Minnie ears, during the...
Not
if you did that for your wedding,
wrong.
That's awesome. We didn't do that, but...
Still great, but just for us, it was like we wanted it to just be kind of like just hints. So what we knew that we wanted to do was have all of the tables at the reception. You know how they're usually like numbered, or there's like some way, usually it's numbered, I guess, for them to know like how to release tables to go eat or whatever. Rather than numbers, we had Disneyland rides, which was so fun. When people walked into the reception, there was a big board or like
seating chart.
Seating chart, exactly, with everyone's names on their own specific fast pass to that table. And it was the best.
It was so cool. So you'd go up and be like, oh, there's my name. I'm a part of the Pirates of the Caribbean table. Yeah. So you'd bring your fast pass over to the table, had their names on it, had our wedding date on it. Super cool.
So iconic. I have to say that was one of my favorite parts of our wedding. Like I think we ended up keeping a whole bunch that either people left or I don't remember.
We might have had some extras. Them. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. It was amazing. And I would highly recommend if you're a Disney fan. I don't know if the person that we used is still on Etsy.
There's someone similar. If it's not the same person, you could still find them on there.
There still is available ways to do that. If you need help finding some, you could probably ask one of us.
Obviously, fast passes aren't around anymore. But if you just were alive during the era of fast passes, do it. Yeah.
Still such a fun idea. So we did that. We had the glass slipper that he used to propose to me. That was fun. What else did we do? I can't recall. I think that was kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, there was like a sign that said happily ever after. That wasn't actually our idea. It was already there.
It was a part of the venue, I think. But the funniest thing about the venue that we picked, I've told this story before, but in case you haven't heard it, when we chose our venue, the day that we went to look at it, we showed up. There was no wedding that day, but it was like for the following day, it was all set up. And we peeked into where the reception area
It was actually my mom and my sister.
They saw it first. I think I don't know why we hadn't gotten out of the car yet. I think we were just like taking a break. So we had been looking at a few venues that day. So we were just
they start running up to the car.
Yeah. And they had like walked around and then they were running back. They're like, come here, get out. You have to come see this right now. And we were like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we walked around the building and peeked inside. Lo and behold, Disneyland rides were at every table.
Yeah. And we're like, we already knew ahead of time that we wanted to do the Fast Pass thing.
Yeah.
And then that literal venue that we were going to check out right then was set up for that. And we're like, okay,
like, this is like
this is immediately we're like, yeah, we're definitely
this is our
doing
place.
this one.
so special.
Yeah.
That was such a fun aspect to our wedding.
It was so great. It was so fun.
So good. So yeah, that's kind of the main thing that we did. There might have been other little things. I can't quite place it. Oh, there were little things. I just remembered a few things.
Oh yeah.
I had in my bouquet, I had a little necklace thing. I don't remember where I'd gotten it from, but I had this
really cool
little necklace that had the "Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy."
Yeah, that was on Etsy.
Etsy, you must have gotten that for me then. So I had it like in my bouquet. I had it kind of like wrapped around it, which was so fun. We also
had our adventure book.
I was just thinking about that too. I'm like, how did we forget all these little details?
Yeah. So our guest book, that was actually my gift to you. What we did was that was our guest book for people to sign was our adventure book from Up. And so what we decided to do with that was we had people sign the first couple of pages and then we used the rest of the book for our Polaroid camera that we had to just kind of place in our adventures.
Our trips that we had taken, which we haven't updated in quite a while, and we need to go through and do that.
We were updating it until 2020 hit. And then we were like, oh, we can't travel anymore, and we kind of fell out of the practice. But we do want to keep that up. But it's really cool because like at the beginning, it's all the well wishes from everyone who was at our wedding, and then it goes into all of our places we've traveled and everything from here to multiple places in Europe and
Hawaii, Disneyland, Disney World. It just has like so many of our special memories, and it's such a fun thing to have from our wedding day through a lot of years of our marriage, and we do need to continue it. We just have to carve out the time, which we're not great at doing.
It's so especially now.
Yeah,
I know. I think multiple times through this episode, I'm like, Yana, this week is really, really busy. We've been a little bit slacking on Instagram and stuff like that too, because work has been crazy. Also, I'm doing some extra stuff, and it's a lot. But really excited for this weekend because we'll actually have a date night for Valentine's Day, which is going to be really great. One of our favorite places
too. Yeah, favorite restaurants. We're so pumped.
Yeah,
it's been a while since we've gotten out. Since having our second son, who has proved to be quite a tough one when it comes to sleep. We're still struggling really hard. Literally
every hour.
Already woke up before we started this episode tonight. He's I don't know. I kind of thought that regressions lasted a shorter time, but he's been
now with this guy. He's going for a Guinness Book of World Records with this regression.
I don't know what's happening.
And we're going for a Guinness Book of World Records of 2 kids and doing a podcast every weekend. So far we've done it. So
we're keeping up with it somehow by some miracle. I am actually shocked that he hasn't woken up yet again. So that's probably going to happen anytime now that I've spoken it. So
look at that. 2010, first Disney trip, gone every single year since, sometimes even twice. Oh, and Disney has continued to be a part of our story with 2021 starting this podcast. And, I can't believe we've been doing it it's going to be 2 years and 3 years in April.
3 years, because our son was 7 months. Our first son was 7 months when we started this, and he is 3.5.
So you know what? It's a lot of work to be put into this podcast, weekly reels, Instagram, all that stuff. But we cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are the reason why we continue to do this. Obviously, we love talking about Disney, but your guys' support has just meant so much and has just pushed us every single week, and in a great way. It's not like something we regret doing. We love talking Disney and also hearing from you guys. Whenever we do like listener questions and you guys respond to us, it feels more like a two-way conversation, which is so fun.
It's so fun.
So you guys are the best, and we love you guys. Speaking of love with this Valentine's Day episode, we love you guys so much.
We do.
Thank you for being a part of this journey, and thank you for listening to our story. I know this episode is very different than what we usually do, but it's fun to just like look back,
just reminisce
with the 14 years with our relationship and also our relationship to Disney.
Yeah, it's so fun to look back. I mean, the memories are countless. They've continued with our first son. We're going to be taking our second son for his first time in a couple months, and we just can't wait to continue our Disney love with our family over, the years to come. It's just such a special place. I think, you guys understand. Anyone that is a Disney person just gets the love that you have for it and just the memories that you make with your family as the years go on. And that's just what connects you to it.
Yeah.
I'm
it's very special.
So thankful.
It's really, really awesome stuff. And we're just so glad that we're a part of this community with all of you guys too, other Disney lovers. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode, and we will catch you all next week. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. We'll see you then.
Valentine's Day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.